And we are live and we are back. Let's go. I'm Cory, your host, one half of the Quarter Full Effect podcast, and I'm back like I never left with another installment of Wealth Wednesdays. Here on the Quarter Full Effect podcast, we discuss health and wealth, finances and fitness, and everything in between. And we want to make sure you save more and say less and keep making better your best. Yes, yes. However, when my co-host Jordan was out on paternity leave, I started doing these Wealth Wednesdays, and we get straight to the finance topics. However, Jordan's back and now we're recording every other Sunday. So this upcoming Sunday, we will be dropping another Quarter in Full Effect podcast. And as a reminder, we are going live when we do these. So we'll be going live on YouTube and Facebook. So I guess I got to tell you all to like the Facebook page now. Join that, whatever it is. I'm not well versed on how the Facebook page works. Need to get more well versed in that. However, my apologies because I said Wealth Wednesdays will be dropping the day after the student loan hearing occurred on February 28th. So March 1st, last Wednesday. But I'm sloppy and I forgot I was going to Miami that same week. I didn't forget I was going to Miami. I forgot to put it in my schedule as far as recording. I was going to Miami and recording essentially on Tuesday instead of Wednesday because I knew I wasn't going to be packed in time and I was leaving Thursday and I knew I was going to be rushing, yada, yada. So, because we left at 6 a.m. on Thursday. So I knew I was like, on Wednesday, I'm not going to be able to record, but I forgot to move my schedule around for that. So, when I got back, was tired, my voice is gone. So, what I'm going to do is essentially record today, Wealth Wednesday at night. I know, dropping it late. Then I'm record again Thursday to get back on schedule because Sunday, I believe, should be our 100th total episode that we're dropping. So I think it's going to be episode technically 98 that we totally dropped. And then 99 would have technically been this week if I didn't miss last week. And then so the 100th total episode should be this upcoming Sunday with Jordan and myself. As long as we're scheduled to record. I'm saying this, I probably jinx myself. But my apologies for that. We're going to talk about the student loan stuff today. I got another article that I had somebody reach out to me that they wanted me to discuss. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. But again, my apologies for that. But it doesn't matter because the past is in the past, and now we're about to do the student loan stuff. I'm glad they didn't have the hearing as far as the decision while I was out and I missed it. But I also want to say if this is your first time listening, make sure you hit that like button. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you share and subscribe as well. Again, I'm sideline underscore Cory. My co-host Jordan is Stop Stalling J. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All of our information is in the show notes on YouTube, and then Jordan's business page is FinallyFit.live for his personal training information. And I did want to say, I can't remember if we said on the last Quarter in Full Effect episode, but Jordan is not doing in-person training right now. So only the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday online classes in the morning. In-person training has stopped, which I should remember because I just remembered Jordan picked up a part-time job at night. So that it's kind of hard to work that in. This full-time and a kid and being a husband. So that's on hold right now. But the virtual classes, those unlimited slots, I'm pretty sure the Zoom can hold as many people. Let me find out. Let me find out. Zoom's not unlimited, but definitely the Zoom classes are still open for Monday and Wednesday, 5:30 a.m. for the more intermediate advanced folks, and then Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. for more of the beginner people. All right, now some of you might have noticed the angle for those watching on YouTube. The angle might have changed a little bit. And if you listen to the last episode, the Quarter Full Effect episode, I got a camera. So now everything is hooked up together. So now when I share my screen, you won't see that little crappy little box on the side. It might have taken me 29 episodes plus the couple of Quarter Full Effect ones that we did. So it might have been, I don't know. I started doing this in, when did I move out? In May. So it might have taken me 9 months, 10 months almost. Don't worry about that. Mind your business. But again, we're talking about the Quarter. Excuse me. We're talking about Wealth Wednesday. We're talking about these student loans. We always talk about student loans on here. I already have a default banner for it on Wealth Wednesday. But y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to get straight to the article and we're going to CNBC. There were, as you can imagine, there were a ton of articles. And by the way, if you didn't know, my mouse is broken as well for people first time watching on YouTube. So you're going to see it jumping all over the place. But yes, there were a ton of articles. I saw a New York Times article and it was stupid long. And I'm like, I already did a 4-hour live stream on student loans. So I only live stream that long once the decision comes out. If it, depending on which way it goes, I guess if it goes in favor, there's really nothing to really talk about because unless they make them amend something to what they're proposing. But if it's against, we might we're probably gonna do a live stream about that. But let me go ahead and share the screen. And again, entertainment purposes only. Anything you hear on the Corner Full of Fat podcast is just that, entertainment. You need to do your own research. Jordan nor myself are fitness or financial professionals. And after you do your Google searches, you need to hire a professional. Don't trust anything we say. Don't sue us, sue your mama. Now, if I can actually find this article right there, we go. Boom. Boom. All right. So now look all nice for those watching on YouTube. See, it's just one box now. It's just nice. It's just one box now instead of two. I got everything all hooked up. Shout out to my brother Jordan for getting me the camera. Technically, I mean, we both put money aside for this stuff. So yeah, it's an even wash, but still. All right. Let me scroll back up to the top. Goodness gracious. All right. Here we go, y'all. Supreme Court. So let me drink some water real quick before we get started. This is not going to be, this shouldn't be a long article, but I might have a lot to say about it. Again, Supreme Court Justice Barrett could be swing vote on Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. Now, by the title of this is a good title because I believe the Supreme Court is 5-4 in favor of Republicans/conservatives. It might be 6-3, but it should be 5-4. But I know it is a conservative leaning Supreme Court. I insert when Roe v. Wade got overturned. But this is good news for those who do want the student loan forgiveness to occur, because now it's saying, hey, we're in a swing vote situation versus people like myself thought, the hearing is just that for show, for the hearing purposes, but it's going to get turned down. All right. And again, this is by Annie Nova. This is published today, March 8th. So again, Supreme Court Justice, or Amy Coney Barrett she's conservative justice. Okay. Who seemed the most unconvinced by the plaintiffs challenging student loan forgiveness. Even Barrett finds that the plaintiffs don't have standing to sue. She had to convince another conservative justice to come to her side for Biden's student loan forgiveness plan to survive. Wow. Barrett may be able to convince the irony. She may have to convince Justice Brett Kavanaugh or Chief Justice John Roberts. The irony. Shout out to them. Now I don't have to worry about, my video for my phone being so close. My mic can be better and hopefully the audio sounds better. But what are the chances if she has to flip Brett Kavanaugh Justice Brett Kavanaugh instead of Justice John Roberts? If she has to flip Justice Kavanaugh, if that's who she ends up flipping to get this passed, what are the chances? Because this is not who the people who wanted the student loan, the people who want the student loan forgiveness, they did not want Justice Brett Kavanaugh at the time, Brett Kavanaugh, to be elected to the Supreme Court. Remember the entire, oh my goodness. If this now, like, I want it to go down and I want Justice Kavanaugh to be flipped just so it can be like, be careful. Because, I mean, obviously this should have been Justice Brett Kavanaugh's seat just from a political standpoint. Should have still been a blue seat. RGB should have, retired when the second Obama was inaugurated, his second term. She should have retired, so that seat could have gone blue, but she waited till Trump was elected. So y'all saw how that went down. But if Brett Kavanaugh ends up being like the quote unquote deciding vote for this, oh my goodness. Okay. Brett Kavanaugh, the whole situation happened in Maryland. Anyways, regardless. The fate of the Biden administration's sweeping plan, right? They want to cancel $400 billion. I also had time to watch about the first 20 minutes or so. It was about a 4-hour plus hearing. I had time to watch about the first 20 minutes before I went to Miami. And I'm not a lawyer, but in the first 20 or so minutes, boy, were they counter punching the crap out of the general. She got for the attorney, I don't know if it's attorney general, but the person representing the Biden administration in this case. Now, she would have some counter punches, but I mean, you could tell, like, okay, I could see why these people are, the top 9 from, a justice standpoint in the United States, because they had some straight up questions. They were very, I wouldn't say stoic, but for lack of a better term, stoic in their responses to her and their questions. And it was like, my goodness. And some of the things she was getting counter punched on, or she getting punched on, but she had some punches back. But it was like, oh, this is tough, because some questions they were asking. This last week when I watched them, the whole Miami trip is in my head right now. But they were asking some questions in the sense of, in short, is $400 billion is a lot of money. And what you're saying is this should really just be in the case of like a smaller dollar amounts. They're like, isn't 400 billion a lot? Like they were sort of being like rhetorical in their questions with it, but in a very professional lawyer type of Supreme Court way. So I was like, my goodness. But all right, here we go. Fate of Biden administration again, 400 billion to sweep it. Again, for those who don't know, real quick, you should watch the student loan episode that I did for all the student loan information. But the Biden administration is talking about doing up to $10,000 in forgiveness if you didn't receive a Pell Grant, then up to $20,000 if you did receive a Pell Grant. That's what they're discussing. In short, they have had to make some adjustments to get the case up into this point. So not everyone who originally qualifies, but in short, up to 10K if you didn't receive a Pell Grant, and then up to 20K if you did. All right, for tens of millions of Americans may hinge on the newest conservative member. This is the newest person, Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Okay, Barrett was conservative justice who's seen the most unconvinced. Okay, and again, the plaintiff in this case, or the Biden administration is the defendant. The plaintiff in this case, I think, is six conservative states, right? In like I think it's Missouri, Arkansas, and that area as far as those set of states. In short, they're complaining that harm has been done to them, but one, the forgiveness hasn't gone through for them to claim that harm has been done, and two, how can you be quote unquote harmed? They're complaining about the taxes or the loss of money. Some individuals are complaining about the fact that they may have to pay taxes, and I already went over in a previous episode about how much they would be paying in taxes, a couple hundred, maybe $1,000. So there's not so much standing on that point as far as for those of us on the outside looking in, not legal experts, but that's in short what the complaint is about. Okay, Barrett was vocally and deeply uncomfortable. Oh, here we go. Here come the ads. My apologies. Vocal and deeply uncomfortable about ruling that any of the plaintiffs has standing. Wow. Okay, as a rule, plaintiff must first prove that a policy would cause. Okay, here we go talking about the injury in order to challenge it in the courts. That requirement, right, would cause them harm. So that's slightly renege on that. So it would cause them harm. That requirement, which has long been defined by conservative justices, especially former Justice and Antonin. I feel like that might should be Justice Scalia. Yep. Okay, I remember that. It is meant to avoid people using the legal system to fight policies they do not like or agree with. The six GOP, right? Less states. Okay, that's talking about against President Joe Biden's plan. Okay, they're arguing that debt cancellation up to 20K, as I mentioned, would decrease profits for companies. So if you don't know, MOHELA, one of the top dogs for student loans, that M, I believe, stands for Missouri, but I'm not even reading ahead. I don't read these articles ahead of time. I promise y'all I did not read this last part where they're saying, hey, companies are going to lose money. Then that argument has been focused on the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority, aka MOHELA. I did not read that, but okay, there we go. I'll stop talking about that. Nebraska Solicitor General James Campbell, okay, arguing on behalf of the states in front of the justice right on February 28th, said Biden's plan threatened to eat away. All right, MOHELA's operating revenue by as much as 40%. Why does Nebraska care about Missouri's, MOHELA's, revenue? And then they were also, even though some of the justice in the issue is the video that I watched, it was a YouTube video, but it was all audio. So outside of a Justice Clarence Thomas, and I can't remember the black lady's name on there. Those are the only two people's voices I could recognize, put a name to. Everybody else I couldn't really match it. But some of them were sort of in favor, saying, hey, why is Missouri, MOHELA, the type of business they are, how they're registered, Missouri, the state of Missouri, who's complaining about this as far as being a plaintiff, has always never cared about if something happens to MOHELA, the company, Missouri, they don't want to deal with any damages, things like that. I'm probably summarizing in a bad way, paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. So then, why are they complaining that MOHELA might lose 40% revenue? That's a lot of in operating revenue, but it's damn near half. All right. So Barrett seems unsatisfied again by the arguments. All right. So now Barrett asks Campbell why MOHELA is self-right. So why isn't MOHELA suing? If MOHELA is having issues, why is the state of Missouri suing on their behalf? Right. So why is MOHELA not suing to block the plan or instead of Missouri? And that's the question that was like, that's a good question. Right. And so officials at MOHELA recently said also too, and this is why it's good to listen to these hearings. One of the things they said is that the MOHELA doesn't actually they don't care if the forgiveness occurs or doesn't occur. They actually just want the student loans to start back up so they can start collecting this interest. And a lot of other large student loan holders, in short, are in that boat. They're just like, yeah, I mean, they get the forgiveness, but the government / these companies, but in short, it has cost the government more money to have the forbearance than what it's going to cost to forgive the student loans that they're proposing. So they just stuff gets so funny, but the student loans have been in forbearance so long, so no interest being charged, no minimum payments needing to be made, that it has cost more money than this roughly 400 billion. So it's cost more than 400 billion to have it in forbearance for the almost 3 years now. I think, when was the pandemic? Is it March 16th? I can't remember the exact date, but we're coming up literally on 3 years. I know it was March where the forbearance started. So from a month standpoint, we are 36 months in, and before those 36 months, so this was on February 28th, the government has already lost more than $400 billion due to forbearance. So if they just would have given y'all a 10 or 20K, whatever the stipulation was off jump, they would have had more money. They would have lost less money, if you want to look at it that way. So that's why it's just getting like, oh, this is getting like pure politics. It's getting funny now. It's getting like a clown show. I mean, the student loan situation is a clown show, but now with this hearing on wax with the Supreme Court, it's starting to look like, when they said that, it was like, you already spent more money, and it's like, maybe we shouldn't do the forgiveness now, because as I've been saying, this forbearance is the forgiveness, and from a dollar amount standpoint, it's kind of more than that. All right, so officials at Mohila recently said it had no involvement in Missouri Attorney General Eric Smith's decision to sue against the program. Okay. Do you want to address why Mohila's not here? Dang, this is a Supreme Court justice. Why isn't Mohila here? Mr. Campbell. Campbell replied, Mohila doesn't need to be here because the state has authority to speak for them. Okay. And that's what I was talking about. Some of the justices were saying, yeah, but doesn't ensure, based off of the filing from a business standpoint that Mohila has, don't y'all always in the past have said when Mohila's had any issues, you as the state of Missouri don't want to, y'all don't deal with any of the damages that come with that. So if Mohila gets sued, the state of Missouri, in short, doesn't come in and like, okay, we'll pay for some of y'all money. Now y'all saying y'all want to sue for them on their behalf so they can, because they're about to have some damages on it, right? In a negative, like they're about to lose money versus they're being, sued and they have to give out some money. All right, and then saying Barrett wasn't. If this was the straight up answer, they don't need to be here because we're here on their behalf. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's a little bull job. All right, why didn't the state just make Mohila come? No, she didn't. She asked, if Mohila is really an arm of the state, why didn't you just strong arm Mohila and say you've got to pursue this suit? Many commentators are asking, where's the Missouri SG? It's like, where's Waldo? I'm not sure what SG stands for. I know AG is Attorney General. I'm not sure what SG is. Okay, Campbell answered, Your Honor, that's a question of state politics. All right, Sugarman, law professor. Campbell fumbled to explain how a loss in revenue from Mohila. Great, that's what I'm talking about. So how could Mohila losing money harm Missouri, right? The whole way they're set up, Mohila and the state of Missouri, they ain't got to deal with that. As far as the state of Missouri and their losses, they don't care about it. Then why doesn't, then mind you, if Mohila, if they can't prove that if the state of Missouri can't prove that Mohila losing money is an issue, then none of the other 5 states, Mohila's not even in your state. And again, this is just from this particular standpoint. This doesn't mean that the justice is going to rule either way. Not trying to say like, all right, this is good for forgiveness, folks. I'm just saying, like, simple logic. If Mohila's in Missouri and Missouri can't prove why they should be here or why they didn't prove they should be here, and can't prove why the damages and loss in revenue is a big deal, neither can other 5 states. I believe it's Nebraska, Arkansas, might be one of the Dakotas. Mississippi might be in there too, but so it's those states right there. Once we get into the middle of the country, my brain starts getting lost. I can name all 50 states and I can put them down if I'm filling it out, but look at me saving myself, as I always do. I know stuff, but when I don't know stuff, this is why I don't know it. All right, Nebraska. Okay, Solicitor General is what SG probably stands for. Yeah, I bet the Nebraska Solicitor General is going to be even more unconvincing. What do they know about Mohila? It was a mess, Sugarman said. Sugarman also criticized the decision to have Nebraska stop Tate attorney argue the case in front of the justice as opposed to the one. In short, the main piece of evidence. This is me trying to act like I'm a lawyer. That's my initial thing I wanted to be. But in short, Mohila being hurt, losing out 40% in operating revenue, that's the whole big issue. So if Missouri should be the one, if you can't bring Mohila here, and whatever your reason is for that, cool. But at least you should be the one arguing for it. It's in your state. Okay. He said that would have been appropriate because Missouri's, the best claim right on injury. Is okay, businesses. I don't know what Mohila is. I don't know how Mohila is set up, but if they're an LLC is state based. So literally, they might, Mohila could be in other states. You can have different LLCs in each state. But if they're just in Missouri, none of the other states can claim injury because it's not even in your state. Oh my goodness! Now, obviously, the other conservative justices don't care. It's just Justice Barrett. And then she may possibly have to flip Justice Kavanaugh or Chief Justice Roberts. Okay, so it's just these three people out of the 9. Many commentators were asking, "Where's the maturity rate Solicitor General, Missouri Solicitor General, the SG?" He said, "It's like where's Waldo? Plans survival depends on 2 conservative votes. So right now it must be if there's 9, they need to get to 5-4. My guess is so right now it must be." Right now, it must be 3-4 or 2-4. Must be 3-4. Yeah, it must be 3-4 right now with 3 people undecided. What's 3 plus 4? It's not 7. Must be 2-4. I don't know what it is right now. Regardless, it must be 3-2. I'm just gonna leave it. Here goes my math struggling. All right, this is when Jordan needs to be here and see that I can't do this quick math. They must have 3 people for it, right? Because they get 2 more votes and they'll be at 5. All right, so it must be 3-4 right now. 7. Okay, 2. Oh my goodness. Anyways, Barrett alone can't save the program. Liberal justice, right? Elena Kagan, right? Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? That's the other person I could recognize. And then Sonia Sotomayor are almost certain to vote right in favor of the plan. Again, they're liberal. They're essentially on the same side as Joe Biden. And then they're saying, on the other hand, the 3 conservative justices, right? Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, and Samuel Alito are likely to vote against it. He said, all right, so right now it's 3 people, 3 and 3 that are decided. Because of that, the Biden administration will likely need to convince not just Barrett, but at least one of the 2 other, right? Okay, I would mention Chief Roberts or Justice Kavanaugh. My goodness. Okay, if she is a 4th vote, the question is, can she convince a 5th? Politics are crazy. Always remember, legislative branch, judicial branch, executive branch. The judicial branch is the one branch where we, the people, when we vote, have no direct say in. Okay, the executive branch puts those people in. Shout out to President Brett Kavanaugh's situation with President Trump. And these people also have life is a lifetime position. Oh my goodness. If the justice ignores, also too, quick point again, I might call it like the messy hour, like the messy minute, right? The messy 30 seconds. What do y'all want? Right? Because this is the same, to my knowledge, this is the same Supreme Court that just overturned Roe v. Wade. So are you going to be happy if this same Supreme Court rules in favor of the Biden administration for student loan forgiveness? This is just a question. Which one do you want? Would you rather? Okay. If the justices ignore the state's lack of standing, they risk allowing any state or individual to challenge almost any federal program, says Steve Switchen, law professor at the University of Illinois, Chicago. This is in no way a federal democracy. Schuin said if the plaintiffs have a problem with loan cancellation, they should take it up through political process, right? Yeah, also, is that it? Okay, that's it. Yeah, one big thing, when the Supreme Court rules, they're the highest court in the land, and they're always may not be landmark cases as far as like a notoriety standpoint, but it's in short always a landmark decision because the Supreme Court made a decision and everybody else got to deal with the fallout for it as far as the 50 states. So very important to see. All right, that wasn't too bad. What am I at? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be under 30 minutes like I wanted to be. All right, y'all. Again, I could have. There too much information out on this, but in short, as you can see, it's right. It's 3-3 right now, right? Saying she got it. That's why I got confused when they say they need 2 more conservative votes because they're assuming that she's already flipped. All right, so it's 4-3 right now in favor, and technically, or it's 3-3 right now, but it's 4-3 as I was assuming. Now they're assuming she's one of these two. All right, so they're talking about Chief Justice John Roberts and then Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Again, the irony, if Brett Kavanaugh is the reason that this student loan forgiveness does go through. So I would say, based off of this article, again, I'm going to listen to the hearing in full, just so I have it in my brain. But I would say, based off of this article, it's closer. I was more like in a 70-30, 80-20 range, just based off how the Supreme Court is set up, right? A 6-3 as far as conservatives versus to liberals. But this seems like they weren't able to convince one conservative judge. And now, by the way, you can see if Brett Kavanaugh was a liberal seat, remember, Brett Kavanaugh's seat is RGB's seat. So if she just would have retired when Obama got inaugurated his second term, this might have went through, and you also still might have Roe v. Wade, right? Liberals could have been up. Supreme Court is not the most important one, but since it's so hard, it's lifetime as far as the seats, and only 9 people up there, and their decisions have, you could argue, say they have more weight than any decisions they make, have more weight than probably anybody, because it's one they can. We have all this process with the legislative and executive branch with these laws and the president approving them. Congress, trying to write up laws. But Supreme Court can come and say, nah, bump all that. This is how we feel about it. And this is only 5 people got to agree on it. Five individuals, and that's about it. So I would say it's more like 50-50. I would say it's more, and this is Wednesday, right? This isn't last week. I would say it's more like 50-50 right now. I could say 50-50 goes either way. One thing to remember as we wrap up, the student loan forgiveness, the payments as far as the forbearance, that starts back up 60 days from when the hearing ends. However, if the hearing essentially ends on June 30th or is still going on past that, the student loans will start back up 60 days after June 30th. Now, they're not scheduled to start up like 60 days on the dot. You're still going to have to hear from your loan service provider on when your student loan payments are going to start back up. So it's not saying, if it whenever 60 days is from June 1st, so is that April 1st, right? Yeah. Or no, March 1st. All right, we're past that. Yeah. No, April 1st. Yeah. So if it ends April 1st, right, or March 31st, however you want to look at it, and they start back up June 1st, that just means that's when the loan service providers can start them back up. Doesn't mean that that's exactly the date that they're going to start back up. I believe they have to contact you, I think, 6 weeks before they start your payments up again. So once this hearing does end, things like that, for 2 weeks, you may not have any communication. But after that second week, start looking through your emails, the mail, for this communication on when your loan is going to start back up. If your interest rate has or has not changed, what your minimum payment is going to be. Some of you might be looking to refinance your student loan, so you need to start preparing for that. Because if this 10 to 20K, whatever you're going to get, isn't going to forgive all of your debt, and you don't have the cash sitting on the side to pay off the difference, then it may be in your best interest to start shopping around now for some lower student loan interest rates for those of you who got stuff really getting close to that 50K plus range. If you're in that 20, if you're sub 50K, you might, if you're not even sub, if you're able to pay it off in a year or so, might not be that big of a deal to refinance. But if you still might have a 2+ year journey on your student loans, you might want to be looking at refinancing so you can save yourself some money on the interest, because it can be a 3 or 4. My interest rate went down almost in half. I went almost from an 8 to like a 4. So it can be a big jump as far as, down from student loan interest. But all right, y'all. Shout out to the student loans. Shout out to my new setup. Shout out to my mouse not working. I gotta get a new mouse. When am I gonna get a new mouse? Hopefully soon. Shout out to my brother Jordan for giving me the camera. So now I'm fully good to go. I got my cell phone. It's right here. Shout out to Black Panther background. But no more cell phone now. So we're all good to go. Technology is all fully integrated. But yeah, please, my guess is I'm about 90-10 that student loans are starting back up this year. They might not if they go the wrong way on this. As far as the Biden administration, they might not start back up, but I'm pretty sure they're going to start back up this year. I'm pretty confident in that. How the forgiveness is going to go, I don't know. We got 5 people who can, mess this up, depending on which side you're on when I say mess it up. But when it comes to the payments start back up. They're probably going to start back up this year. So for those of you who haven't, you need to start working your student loan minimum payment back into your budget if you're still going to have student loans, even if the forgiveness goes through. Start already making that payment again. That's my best recommendation. A lot of you been out here living really reckless, and you're not prepared for these student loans to start back up. They're going to start back up, and you're going to be upset. Inflation is. I've been told y'all to start paying these student loans before inflation was real bad. I know, it was a panorama and people was struggling to get a job or get back to the same income, even though McDonald's was hiring out the wazoo. It already talked about, how much minimum wage is in Maryland. But y'all need to start making your payments again if you're still going to have debt. All right, because put it like this. It's 100% chance you're going to still have student loans if the forgiveness isn't more than, or, is less than or equal to what you owe. You will have payments starting back up. If you didn't get a Pell Grant and you got more than 10K, or you got a Pell Grant and you got more than 20K in student loan debt, you're gonna have student loan payments starting back up. Obviously, you guys can still do the right forbearance deferment, but recommendation over here is that you still aggressively pay it off and take advantage of the fact that there's been no interest for 3 years now. I mean, 36 months is a long time. You guys got credit for all 36 of these payments. These months have been on forbearance as far as towards the PSFL, Public Student Loan Forgiveness Program. So if you want to take that route too and apply for that forgiveness, now you got these 36 extra payments. You might want to look into that as well. All right. Check out debt free gonna be for that. She got her student loans forgiven a couple of months ago, and she has all the information on that. I share it every time I can. But all right, y'all. Again, make sure you hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Again, we see the views going up, see the likes going up. So we appreciate y'all supporting. I gotta keep telling y'all, make sure not just share, but tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Shout out to my man, Sir Alex, comedy superstar out of Baltimore. But tell a friend to tell a friend, right? As he would always say. But yes, please, snaps and laughs at the Golden Dragon off of Liberty Road. But share this with other people. Don't leave people. Don't soak up all this information for yourself. Even when we do the fitness information, please share this with other people so other people in your circle can just begin to, whether you guys disagree or agree with us, but just have more information, more food for thought, so you can process, have more stuff to think about when you're processing all these different situations that are going around. I do my best to give. Right. Am I objective, but as objective as possible with these articles, especially when we do financial articles. These are they're not joke articles about the student loans, but like the couple articles I did about the 57% of Americans, what is it, don't have $1,000, stuff like that. When we get into like the real numbers and the financial topics, I'm gonna be as objective as possible and do my best to give y'all as much information as I can that that I quote unquote give my clients. They still pay for information, so I can't give y'all everything, but to give y'all some different insight on what these articles are missing or stuff on social media, things like that. All right. Again, I'm Silent_Cory, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. My co-host Jordan is Stop Stalling J, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well. His business page is FinallyFit.live. His website is his business page. His website is FinallyFit.live. His business page is FinallyFit on 06 on Instagram, then FinallyFit on Facebook. All right, all this information is in the show notes on YouTube. But all right, y'all. Again, I'm gonna drop another episode. I might do episode on Thursday and Friday. So I'm gonna drop this one tomorrow, and then I'll record tomorrow, and then I'll drop that one. I might drop that one, I guess, tomorrow, maybe at night. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Depends on when I record it. But regardless, now I'm just rambling. This is when Jordan's like, all right, it's time to go. I hear my kids screaming in the background. All right, y'all. Remember to say more and say less. Keep making better your best. And I will catch y'all in the next one. If I can end it. Shout out to my damn mouse. All right, y'all. Peace.